Thank you. Senator Lujan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that very much. Mr. DeBar, thank you for being before us today. The first question I have, Mr. DeBar, it's a continuation of something that my colleague was just inquiring about and having a conversation with you. Congress appropriated over $68 million to the MBDA. Are you aware what the MBDA is?
Yes, I am, Senator.
Now, the $68 million that was funded here is under the current funding bill. So this is recent. This is now. So the agency could effectively carry out its mission to promote growth and expand economic opportunities. But as you may be aware, and I'll ask if you are aware, Secretary Lutnick and the Trump administration have dismantled the MBDA. Are you aware of that?
I only know what I've picked up from the press.
You're here today to be a leader at the Department of Commerce. Have you taken time to study the Department of Commerce?
I certainly have, but I don't know every detail at the department right now, and that's one of the ones that I don't know the details on the current status.
What areas are you strongest in your knowledge base with the Department of Commerce?
Well, certainly the area of China security. As you know, I ran lab efforts in your state extensively, as well as some of the nuclear operations. So the China topic, which I recently testified before ENR on about 2 months ago, I think I have quite a lot of experience. Obviously, I ran the bulk of the National Quantum Initiative. I built 4 #1 supercomputers. So while I was a DOE, I ran WIP. We also generated vast amounts of patents, as you know, at under Bayh-Dole and Stevenson Wilder. I could keep going, Senator, but
well,
there's a reasonable amount of things that I have quite a bit of exposure to.
In all of those responsibilities, did you ever work with small businesses?
Oh, absolutely. In particular, at environmental management at DOE, if you may remember the small business topic at DOE that certainly New Mexico was part of.
Is it fair to say you support small business success?
Yes, Senator.
I would encourage you to learn more about the MBDA. The MBDA was created to help with small business success, subcontracting with prime contracts, looking at the major initiatives and investments that America has always had depends on success with small businesses. The MBDA is one of its own, the only kind of that exists to be able to provide more support. And I would argue it's the only one within the Department of Commerce. It's why there was broad support, bipartisan support for this very small investment, I would argue, when you look at the United States budget, $68 million. And it's very concerning when the secretary, when he was here before us as a nominee, said he also supported small businesses. And he's leading efforts with Donald Trump to eliminate one of the components that exists, and I would argue ignoring law. This is in the laws that were passed by the legislative branch of government, and one of the prime responsibilities, I'm sure you've been asked by several of my colleagues about the MBDA today. So my question simply is, because this was under current funding, is where did the money go? So do you know where the department has diverted the millions of dollars Congress appropriated to the MBDA?
As I mentioned, Senator, I'm not confirmed. I don't have, insight into individual line item spending at the department right now.
So if confirmed, will you commit to tracing these funds and reporting back to this committee on where specifically our money, taxpayer money for the MBDA has been rerouted?
I can absolutely commit that I have, and I have a long track record of coming back in for oversight before the Senate and the House when I was undersecretary, and that I will continue to do that if I'm so lucky to get your vote.
I appreciate that. I'm looking for a specific commitment in this very narrow space. Will you commit to tracing these funds and reporting back to this committee on where specifically this money has been rerouted?
I don't know if it's been rerouted or not, Senator, but when it comes to financial accountability for anything in the department, including that program, you have my commitment.
Let me ask the question differently then. If the word rerouted is what we're going to get hung up on, will you commit to tracing these funds and reporting back to the committee where they are?
Absolutely. About any funding at the department, you absolutely have my commitment that you will have proper feedback for oversight like I did when I was undersecretary.
Does that include specifically this money for the MBDA?
I will certainly look into that too, Senator. Yes.
You commit to getting back to this committee and reporting where the money is?
I will certainly look into it, and if you ask a question, we will respond.
I'm asking right now, will you commit to get back to, it's yes or no. It's not, I'm going to look into this. I'm going to theoretically try to figure out something. The money may be somewhere. It may have rerouted as a word that clearly is a bit of distance between us. Can you just say yes or no? If the answer is no, the answer is no. I respect that.
I will commit to follow every dollar and report back as you request on anything in the department.
I'll be very surprised if you do not get confirmed, given the votes and the natures with all these confirmations. You will be in this role. If you keep your word, you will be back for oversight hearings. And I'm sharing with you right now, I will be asking about it. If I need to, I'll send a formal letter. I'll ask all my colleagues that voted for this funding to get onto that letter, so that one of the first letters that you have when you go and you sit at your new desk will be this question. If I can be clear about that, is that clear?
It is clear, and I would like to highlight that having run vast operations in your state, including very, very sensitive environmental management topics in Carlsbad and at Los Alamos and quantum operations at Sandia, I think I have a large track record with many, many people in your state on many topics in terms of all sorts of things, including accountability.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.